Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy Academy. In this video, we will be talking about the significance of 26th January 1950, the day when India enacted its constitution and we celebrate it as the Republic Day. This is in news because the Egyptian president, the president of the Egypt, has been invited as a chief guest for our 26th January, that is our Republic Day. So, in this context, we'll be talking about the significance of 26th January. So, what is the context? In order to remind you again, Egyptian president to be the chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations. We have seen from the last few years, the couple of years back, we had all the chiefs of the 10 ASEAN countries, the 10 ASEAN countries, ASEAN, and in the comment box, I want you to comment the full form of this ASEAN. What is this ASEAN? And you have to know the 10 different countries of this ASEAN. Okay, what are these 10 different countries? And you have to know their locations. Because a lot of times, UPSC has asked the question on the ASEAN. See, I always tell you, ASEAN and the Middle East are like the favorites for UPSC. So, and these two will always be in news. So, Middle East and the ASEAN will be in news. So, you don't have to neglect this. And you will have to know the location of these countries in a very detailed way. So, Egyptian president will be the chief guest at our Republic Day celebrations in next 1.5 months. So, before moving on to the significance of the day, let's see the map of Egypt and where is this Egypt. We all know that Egypt is famous for something called as pyramids. Okay, this is something that we already know. So, what is the location of this Egypt? In which continent do we have Egypt? And Egypt lies in the north part of Africa. So Egypt is in the African continent and this is the location of Egypt. And we also know that you have to know the Cairo is the capital city and there is a very important river called as Nile River which flows through Egypt. Okay, I hope I'm clear with this. Now, the next important thing to remember is this small landmass called as Sinai Peninsula. Okay, in the geography you would have studied what is the meaning of peninsula. Peninsula is something that is covered by water, three sides, and one side it has land. So this is Sinai Peninsula, and Sinai Peninsula is a part of Egypt, and it was a disputed territory between Egypt and a small country and a very strong country called as Israel here. And this is Israel. You can see here Israel, and you also have Jerusalem. Jerusalem will also be used, and this is a place that is disputed between Israel and Palestine. So Sinai Peninsula was a disputed territory between Israel and Egypt. As of now, Egypt has the complete control over Sinai Peninsula. This is something that you have to know. And coming to the water bodies, you can see here Mediterranean Sea towards the north of Egypt and a small canal called as Suez Canal. And in our post-independent history classes, we have studied about Suez Canal crisis and how India played a very crucial role in through non-alignment movement, as India was following non-alignment policy, non-alignment movement, NAM for that matter. So how India played a very crucial role with respect to NAM here. So this is Suez Canal, which connects Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, and this is also one of the choke points that we have. Similar to the Gulf of Malacca and the Bab el-Mandeb, this is one of the choke points in the world trade. So this is Suez Canal, and here we have Gulf of Suez, very important water body, Gulf of Suez, Red Sea, and Gulf of Aqaba, and here we have Saudi Arabia, this is Jordan, this is Syria, this is Lebanon, and towards the even more northwestern part, we'll have Turkey, okay, which is the connecting area between Europe and Asia. So this is the entire map that you should be very much aware of when we talk about Egypt. Okay, I hope I'm very clear with this. Now, the next question to be discussed. What is Republic? Why do we even celebrate 26th January every year as a Republic Day? What is Republic? See, we know about democracy, we know justice, we know liberty, we know privacy. What is this Republic? Republic is a term which means the head of the state, the post of this head of the state is open to common people, which means who is the head of the state in India? In India, head of the state is president. and any common person can become the president or even can contest to the election of the president. That is the meaning of republic, which means what did we have before? Before, we had something called as monarch. Okay, monarch. In our ancient history, we have studied about a lot of kings. For example, Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka for that matter, Kanishka, Harshavardhana, and through all the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal rulers that we have seen, these people were monarchs because they had royal blood. Why did Ashoka become a king? Ashoka became a king because his father was a king. How did his father become a king? His father became a king because his father was a king. So that's hereditary and something called as royal blood. Okay, royal blood. So this was hereditary and this is called a monarch system. As of now, we have a republic where the head of the state can be any common person. As of now, the present present president that we have, the present president, Draupadi Murmuji, and her history signifies that India is a republic, a true republic, which means Draupadi Murmu was a clerk in an irrigation department of Odisha. Okay, in the year 1987, we're talking about. Her first appointment was in the post of clerk. Okay, for the irrigation department. And over a period of time, she rose in her standards and integrity, and now she is the first tribal woman president of India. So any common person can become the president of India. At the same time, we have one more example of APJ Abdul Kalam. APJ Abdul Kalam was a person who was surviving on the prasadam of the Rameshwaram temple. He writes in his own autobiography, that he survived a lot of days on just the prasadam that he got from the Rameshwaram temple. So that is the post of the president is open to any common person. That is the meaning of the republic. I hope I'm clear with this. Next, what is the significance of this 26th January? Though in the polity, you would have studied that the constitution was ready by 1949, November itself. Okay, by November itself, some of the provisions of the constitution got even enacted. But the Constituent Assembly was very sure that we will have to wait for next 2 months so that we will be celebrating our Republic Day, and the actual enactment of the constitution happens only on 26th January and not somewhere in the time of November. So why did it happen? We know 9th December 1946 was the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly. 11th December we have the second meeting of the Constituent Assembly. Over a period of time, we have, look at this, October 1948, the second draft of the Constitution was published. November 1948, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar presented the final draft in the Assembly. November 1948 we're talking about. By 26th November 1949. Okay, by 26th November 1949, the Constitution was formulated and the Constitution was ready, and even few provisions of the Constitution got even enacted. But still, we waited for 26th January 1950 to enact our Constitution. Okay, and we celebrate 26th November 1949. 26th November we have recently celebrated it as a Constitution Day. Okay, it is when our actual Constitution got completed. 26th January 1950, the Constitution got enacted. Okay, so this is what we say in the preamble. The last line of the preamble says, "We hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution." So this is the significance of 26th January. So why 26th January? What happened? Do we have any historical background for this date? That is 26th January. Yes, we do have. See, 1929 Lahore session, if you remember, 1929 Lahore session, where Nehru report was enacted, where Nehru report came out on, after this, 26th January 1930, the Indian National Congress and the national leaders celebrated this particular day after we enacted our Nehru report, that is 1929 Lahore session, in the 1929 Lahore session, which was the challenge given by the Lord Birkenhead, and January 26th, 1930 was celebrated as the first Independence Day. So in order to commemorate this day, that we have Republic Day on 26th January every year, in order to commemorate this day of January 26, 1930, where we celebrated our first Independence Day. So now, coming back to the current affairs. So So now we have the Egyptian president who will be the chief guest for our Republic Day celebration on 26 January 2023. And who is this person? Who is this El-Sisi? You can see El-Sisi will be the chief guest, and he was the commander of the Egyptian military, and he was also the defense minister. And after he was the defense minister, he went ahead and won the election. He won the election, and now he is the president. And what is the relationship that we have with Egypt? See, India and the Egyptian relationship goes back to the history, ancient history. If we talk about Indus Valley Civilization, that is IBC, okay, IBC, the people of the IBC actually traded with the people of the Egypt and the Mesopotamian civilization. So the relationship between the India or the Indian subcontinent and the Egypt goes back to 3200 BC. That's where we study IBC. 3200 BC, we have our cultural and the trade relations happening. Okay. So, and now, from that time, as of now, as we're celebrating 75th anniversary of our independence, even India and Egypt are celebrating 75th year of the establishment of the diplomatic relationship. So, in order to commemorate this event, the Egyptian president has been invited to be the chief guest of our Republic Day celebrations. India-Egypt bilateral trade agreement. Okay, we have the bilateral trade agreement with respect to the economy, that is trade. India has very good relationship with Egypt, and with respect to the science, we have ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture and Research. We have ICAR, which is conducting some experiments, and ICAR has been involved in some of the innovations with respect to India and Egypt. And we also have multinational training exercises with respect to the friendly African countries. Okay, so defense relationship that we're talking about here. So we have a very great defense relationship, we have very good trade relationship, and we have very good science and technology, development of science and technology. The Indian diaspora in Egypt are around 3,200, a huge diaspora that we have when compared to the Africa. See, 3,200 might not be great when we compare it with the Europe and America or USA for that matter. But for an African country, a country which is hosting 3,200 Indian people is a huge one. So this is with respect to the relationship that India has with Egypt. So that's all for the day. If you have liked the video, please like and comment, and do not forget to subscribe for more such interesting content. Have a nice day. Thank you.